first. I'm not going to leave Amy right
We're not
there.
going to the car right now.
No, he wants to go out of the crowd. He doesn't like people.
No one's touching you. It's fine. It's a really open space. You're not claustrophobic. You're fine.
That's a perfect sign.
Start in 2 minutes. Just right on time.
So then you don't have anger issues. You do have anger issues.
We're not going to talk. We're not going to fight.
I should have brought my son.
Nice.
I had one that really did all the statues.
She literally would have gotten to the very front. She's like, I'm going to be on the list. I don't know about y'all. I'm going to be famous.
Comfortable here. There's more room.
Do you want to go? Do you want to go forward, honey, with sister, with Ada?
We won't crowd you.
They won't crowd you.
See how you go forward then. You're
No, I'm not going to go forward.
Do something there.
He's super shy.
Does anyone want
I
to
know
move
this
forward
thing
and hold the
is
sign?
touching you. I'm trying to get the coat.
Sure, I can.
Yeah.
Leo, are you okay if mommy goes up there?
I'll keep her.
Here, hold a flower. No, okay, do you want to hold a flower? Okay. Anybody want a flower? Okay.
Dogs aren't here.
Really showed me that flower so nicely.
Ava, mommy's right
I'll
here,
hold
honey.
it.
I'm still
Mama
here.
said I'll hold it.
What do I do with it?
Like
Behind your
that.
ear, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, looks nice.
Thanks.
You're doing good, buddy. We're not going to be here all day. It's just like a short time. After this, we can go to a shop, okay, and look at souvenirs.
I kind of don't want to because I want to see like a dirt bike.
And we're here because on Saturday, unprecedented, completely unjustified violence was unleashed against non-violent animal rescuers at Ridgeland Farms, a facility in Blue Mountain, Wisconsin, with a long history of animal cruelty, findings by a court that they're engaged in felony animal abuse. And instead of protecting those animals, the Dane County Sheriff's Office chose to protect the abusers and unleash just unprecedented violence against rescuers. So we're here today because at this point it has become clear that the local authorities are not acting appropriately, and we need to ask for the Governor Evers and Attorney General Josh Paul to step in, break your silence on this issue. We know that you care about dogs. Governor Evers has been such a strong supporter of animals. We need your help on this issue right now. So we're going to hear from a number of rescuers who were at the rescue on Saturday about what happened.
Hello, everyone. My name is Beagle. I'm the co-founder of Beagle. We are a grassroots organization based out of Madison, Wisconsin, who has been working to shut down Ridgeland Farms since early 2018. We have done everything within our legal means to attempt to do things through legal channels. And on Saturday, April 18th, 2026, we came to peacefully protest at Ridgeland Farms. Upon arriving at Ridgeland Farms at approximately 9 a.m., I went up the hill to join my team, and as we walked around the facility, a can of tear gas was thrown in my face, at which point I went to the ground coughing and crying, and got up and started to move and help my other teammates up the hill to get out of the way of the gas. As we were moving, non-violent, unarmed, they continued to throw canisters of tear gas at us. We came up to the fence line, and we had our hands raised, and we're asking for them to please just release the dogs. Please save the dogs. We are non-violent. At which point they shot us with rubber bullets.
Could you speak up a little louder? I'm sorry. I don't know if that's possible.
Yes. So, like I said, we came up and we were non-violent. We had our hands raised. We actually went to the driveway of the facility where we stood in front with our hands up and started singing chants to the state police. At which point they asked us to move back. There was a woman in front of me who was old enough to be my mother, and the state police officer shoved her to the ground in front of me. At which point I went to pick her up because the crowd was moving forward and I was terrified that she was going to trample me down. Then, as I moved out of the crowd, there were people who were being pepper sprayed, women who were clearly not posing any threat to these officers that were going down. So I went around helping to cover them with blankets, spray their eyes with saline, and take them to safety outside of the field zone. I have never in 20 years of activism seen this kind of cruelty towards unarmed, nonviolent activists taking a chance to help save dogs with their arms raised in the air.
Micah, where were you?
The things that happened to me and other people that I love and respect, even strangers that day, are things I will never forget. I was tear gassed relentlessly. I thought I was going to die. I felt it in my chest. I could not breathe. I could not sleep. People held my hand. People were there for me. They supported me. They helped me through it. They helped me know I was going to survive. And what I went through is nothing compared to what so many others went through that day. I saw people brutalized, kicked in their head, rolled over by an ATV with a smiling police officer as he did it. He asked us, "Do you want to talk?" Everyone said, "No, thank you, officer." He said, "Well, I tried." He smiled and rode right over the woman in front of me. Thank God she was okay, but the things I saw happen to other people were not. Dean, for example, who was a very peaceful Buddhist who was helping us rally, was shot at his brother Beagle. I saw so many people that I love and make me peaceful, such as grandmothers, mothers, teachers, teenage girls, brutalized that day. When we were clearly peaceful protesters, I tried talking to the police officers. I explained to them that we were peaceful. I explained to them that growing up I looked up to police officers, but I do not hold that view anymore. I even applied to be a police officer. I was ready to join law enforcement, but I had to write in a complaint saying I was ashamed I ever did that. Because seeing what I witnessed today, that's not something I can ever forget. We were a non-violent crowd. We came in unarmed. We came in peaceful. We came in to rescue the dogs. Open rescue is not a crime. If you see a dog being drowned, if you see a dog locked in a hot car, you are within your legal rights to break that window, to trespass and get that dog out. Ridgeland Farms has over 311 animal welfare violations. We are acting well within our legal rights, according to Judge Langford, Mark Cocan, and many other things.
Yes.
I do not regret what we did that day. We were acting within our rights and we were brutalized for it. That's not going to stop us. That's not going to keep us down. Thank you.
Saves the Beagles.
So next up we have Lowell, who is a Wisconsin-based veterinarian. My name is Hunter Lowell Wickman. I'm a veterinarian here in Wisconsin. I've been a veterinarian for 32 years. I've been an advocate for these dogs for about 2 years now. I testified in court across the street at the Dade County Courthouse to have them released because they're suffering abuse. Their welfare is not being taken care of. The authorities have not listened. When we went yesterday, we went in peace. When we went out on Saturday, we went in with peaceful intention to release the dogs. We had homes, placements for all of those dogs. They had the opportunity to take that, and they did it. The tools that have been put in front of the media by the sheriff's office were tools to get in and gain entry. They were not violent tools. The violence was all propagated by the police. We were peaceful. We could have walked in, we could have carried those dogs out and found them home. They have been mistreated, they have been abused, and the authorities have not listened. I want Josh Paul to be held accountable. I want the sheriff to be held accountable. That was an inappropriate response. People were injured, and the dogs suffered. The dogs were also subjected to the gas that was propagated upon us. I felt really bad because we could move upwind. The dogs were sucking it all in. You could hear them crying inside. And that is just wrong. It has got to stop. We have to get these dogs at home. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Daniel Zellman. I'm from Humboldt County, California. I'm appalled and shocked by the violence that was perpetrated against us on Saturday by the police. The violence I saw and experienced. I'm never going to forget it. We began to smell the tear gas as we were walking towards the facility. Peaceful rescuers We were not there to cause any harm. We were there because we care about life. We cherish life, all life, human life, beagle life, all life. That's why we were there. For my part, I was standing with a group of, I don't know, maybe there were 50 of us out of the hundreds and hundreds that were there near the front gate. We weren't moving, we were kind of milling around, trying to have civil discourse with the guards who were there. Black-clad, riot gear, very threatening, very militaristic guards who were there. And we weren't moving towards the gate, we weren't moving at all. We were just talking with them. And I was saying to one of them, I said, you know, these beagles love you, and you can love them. And as I finished saying the word them, somebody came around from behind me and sprayed me point blank in the eye with pepper spray. So I guess that was my crime, to tell them that they could love a dog. It was incredibly painful, of course, you all know that, and like other speakers have said, what I went through was nothing compared to what many of the other rescuers, non-violent, peaceful rescuers, went through. And of course, even that is nothing at all compared to what those beagles are going through every single day, right now, as we speak. So when Sheriff Barrett tells you that their response was proportionate and appropriate, or that we were violent, he is lying to you. He is lying to you.
Yes.
And he needs to be investigated. He needs to resign. He needs to be impeached. Whatever it takes, he is not fit to serve as the sheriff.
I'm going to go out of the crowd a little bit. Just stay here with me.
So we're here because we are committed, and we're going to stay here, and we're going to keep coming back until every one of those beagles, and all the other beagles, and all the other creatures are free and able to live their best life. Thank you very much.
So next I want to read a statement submitted by Congressman Mark Pocan. This is from Mark Pocan. The legal settlement for over 300 alleged violations at Ridgeland Beagle Farm in Wisconsin mandates closing down breeding beagles to sell to researchers. But there are 2,000 beagles to rehome. Wisconsin DATCP must work now with Ridgeland to rehome them, or the dogs could face dire consequences. We need a plan to release 2,000 dogs without overwhelming facilities in multiple states. Otherwise, dogs that come to the upper Midwest from other states could meet their new homes Otherwise, dogs that come to the upper Midwest from other states to meet their new homes couldn't due to full facilities, creating consequences for those dogs as well. By demanding Ridgeland deal with this in conjunction with the state, that means they can't just sell the dogs to another research breeder or euthanize them. They deserve homes. They deserve families. But this could take time and must start now. Thank you, Mark Pocan.
We can take them!
I want to read a second short statement from State House Representative Francesca Hong, who is running for governor, and she wanted us to know that as governor, she will fully fund the agencies responsible for enforcing these animal cruelty laws.
Yes!
Never operates in the shadows of state inaction again. These animals deserve better, and Rep. Francesca Hong is calling for a real transition plan for the Ridgeland dogs immediately.
Yes! We can take them now!
Thank you so much, Francesca Hong. Thank you so much, Mark Pocan, for taking the right side on Ridgeland and calling for immediate action from the state. We're now 10 weeks away from the deadline where Ridgeland has agreed to surrender their breeding license, and there is no plan in place for how these 2,000 dogs will be taken out and put into safe, loving homes. Action is needed right now, and we are begging Attorney General Josh Hall, Governor Evers, we need you to step up and make a plan, because the local authorities are not just sleeping on the job, they are assaulting activists, assaulting rescuers, acting completely unhinged behavior. We need your intervention. It is time to break your silence on this issue. Other officials, your peers, are stepping forward and recognizing that the time has come to shut Ridgeland down. We need your action now. Please, Governor Evers, Attorney General Paul, please act now.
We can get them now. Yes. We have crates. We have everything arranged. We can get them now. We're ready.
One moment. We've got the Attorney General here.
Thank you all for being here. God bless you all. The law says that a officer of the law is supposed to lead perpetrators and amount of force. We were not perpetrators. We were not criminals. We were not terrorists. We were there to rescue the dogs. We were met with cold-hearted brutality. I've seen the injuries on my friend Sarah, the other gentleman, everyone. Injuries all over the place. I myself have sustained injuries that are invisible. When I return home to Buffalo, I need to go to urgent care because I may have ribs broken because I was thrown down as I went through them. And the officer had his knee, I don't know if he had his knee or his foot on my back, pushing down. And I could feel, my back, the pressure, the pain I was going through. So now I may have to miss work because I was brutalized. We all need to work. So but it's nothing. As people have said, it's nothing. What we went through is nothing because these poor dogs have to go through this every day of their life. Okay, until they decide to end their life. What type of life is that? They're living, breathing creatures that should not be there. They should be in homes. They should be walking in the park. They should be loved. So we need to shut this place down ASAP.
Yeah.
Today.
No more!
No more. Let us save them. We have homes for all of them.
I got it.
My name is Rebecca Robinson. I'm the president of Date for Dogs. We have been asking for our political officials to help these dogs for almost 10 years. We have bought billboards. We have had yard signs. We have done protests. We have done vigils. We have done email campaigns and phone call campaigns asking our elected officials to help the dogs at Ridgeland Farms. And thus far, they have not, despite overwhelming evidence of animal cruelty happening there. On Saturday, I was barely out of the car before I saw officers sprinting towards me. I took off because I was scared, and they full-on tackled me. A 200-pound man in tactical gear tackled me to the ground, threw my arms behind me, and zip-tied me. And I was left zip-tied for 6 hours. It was absolutely inhumane. They took us behind the barns at Ridgeland Farms where I could hear the dogs screaming for help. As soon as I walked back there, I started crying because I could hear them, and I felt so helpless in my zip ties that I couldn't do anything to help those dogs. I don't know what more we can do. We are peaceful, non-violent activists who are just asking
for our government officials to do their job and help the dogs.
Hello, my name is Max. I was a firefighter and a paramedic here in Wisconsin for many years. I was also a volunteer firefighter and medic for different places here in Wisconsin. I've also been a paramedic for the Chicago Fire Department, and I can tell you, having been on joint operations with the Chicago Fire Department and the Chicago Police Department, where we actually went into drug rings, breaking the doors down. We were the relief medics. The violence perpetrated on Saturday was probably 10 times more than we've ever seen. That's amazing. That's worse than the Chicago Fire Department breaking into drug rings. I am not kidding. I've never seen tear gas thrown like that before. I personally was triple tear gassed. They threw 3 canisters right next to me. These are chemical burns on my face right now. But I also want to say this. These chemical burns will go away. But those dogs, they don't get to get away from this kind of problem. You have to get back in there to save those dogs. And to those dogs, I just want to tell you, we will not abandon you. We will not abandon you. Thank you.
So I just want to reiterate now, we have Governor Evers, Senator Baldwin, Attorney General Josh Paul. We know that you are dog lovers. There are dogs right now who need your help. We have 110 rescue organizations lined up to take all the Ridgeland dogs to safe, loving homes. But that is not the course that we are on. Ridgeland is making it clear by mass assaulting activists. Ridgeland is making it clear by mass assaulting activists that they have no intention of shutting down their criminally cruel business. And we need the government to step in. We need the state officials to step in because the local officials have shown that their choice is unhinged violence against nonviolent rescuers. So please, Governor Evers, Attorney General Josh Paul, Senator Baldwin, break your silence on this issue. We need you to speak out. We need you to take action.
Release
My name is Aiden Konkyoku. I'm a co-marshal with the Coalition to Save the Ridgeland. Say that again. Aiden Konkyoku, Kankyoku.
Hi, my name is Sarah Weldon. I am from Texas. I currently live in Brooklyn, New York. I was in the Marine Corps for 4 years. I went through 3 months of Marine Corps boot camp. I went through a month of Marine combat training. We were tear gassed. We were shot with rubber, metal-backed paintballs. But what I witnessed and what I experienced at the Ridgeland protest trying to rescue those beagles was more intense than anything I ever experienced in my Marine Corps training. Never in my wildest dreams would I think that I would go through something more violent, more painful, trying to rescue dogs from criminal abuse. I never saw war, thank goodness, but on Saturday, after the tear gas and the pepper spray and the rubber bullets to my hand and my leg, around at people around me who looked like they were dying. There was a tear gas canister on the ground. I saw everybody on their hands and knees. I was trying to cover the tear gas canister with a white biosuit that was laying on the ground, using my feet to try to cover it, to try to protect the people around me, because that's what Marines do. We protect our comrades. Officers, I guess, saw that as a violent action and shot me at least 4 times in my leg and my hand, and continued to pepper spray, continued to throw tear gas. And I just want to know why. What did we do that was so violent that we deserved that much brutality? And why are they protecting the actual violent people who are brutalizing the dogs? We came non-violently. We brought no weapons. We just wanted to save the dogs. We were attacked, and the beagles still have not been released. We're just asking for them to release the beagles. That is all we want. We don't want any more violence. We don't want any more blame or name calling. We're not criminals. We're just normal people from normal backgrounds, from all walks of life, all different ages, ethnicities, religions. We just want to save the beagles. Please do the right thing. You have an opportunity here. Release the beagles to loving homes. Thank you.
JB? JB?
I am a resident of Dane County. I moved here from New York about 5 years ago. I moved here because I met people from Wisconsin that were great people, that were compassionate people, that were loving people. And I was appalled to know that Ridgeland Farms, this very cruel facility against innocent animals, existed here. I was in disbelief to believe it existed here, in a place that protects people and social justice and environmental justice and supports all the different viewpoints across this beautiful state. 90% of people in Madison don't know that Ridgeland Farms exists because it can only exist in darkness. And we're here to be the light for that. I've been in Wisconsin. I invest in this state. I support local leadership in this state. I support Governor Tony Evers. I've supported and contributed to Tammy Baldwin's campaign. I believe that these individuals have compassion. Look at these photos. They're photos with their own animals. And they know that those dogs are no different. And I want to speak to one dog in particular, a dog by the name of Granger, a dog that the DA just posted on their Instagram 3 hours ago that they're proud to have as a part of the team here in Wisconsin. Josh Cole, we know you believe in dogs. We know that you love dogs. We know that you respect dogs, but you need to understand that your dog and Granger and that dog are no different than the beagles that are stuck in that cage. I am overwhelmed by the level of compassion that we've had here. And I am overwhelmed by the level of support that not only we have had here, by all of the residents around here. You go across the state, you talk to people, and they say, I can't believe that place exists. Why does that place exist? Who benefits from that place existing? Nobody except for the people of Ridgeland Farms. And here's my statement to the people of Ridgeland Farms. You have families, you have children, some of you have pets. You also know compassion. You also know love. We want to work for this to end so we can all walk away and be happy with this, and we can all find a place that we can express compassion and morality. I know it is in the hearts of the people of Ridgeland Farms. I know it's in the hearts of the people of Blue Mountains and Mount Horeb. We're asking for you to express that and show that and be our better angels. And thank you. Thank you.
So we'll bring all the speakers up now for questions, so everyone can just gaggle up. Yeah. Anyone who spoke, please just come on up. So we'll take questions. Go ahead. So we're asking the governor and the attorney general first to just break their silence on Ridgeland. And this campaign has been going on for 10 years. We don't have a public comment yet from them. Now it's been over 48 hours and activists have been brutalized at the facility. Still no comment. So first, we just need to hear from you. Wisconsiners are waiting to hear from you on this issue. Second, Attorney General Paul could serve a search warrant on Ridgeland at any time. We know that the conditions have already been found by a judge in Wisconsin to constitute at least probable cause for criminal animal cruelty, if not definite felony level criminal animal cruelty, and that is still happening. So just because there's been a settlement in the past for past cruelty, a past settlement cannot cover ongoing cruelty. There's no application of double jeopardy in this instance, and we need Attorney General Paul to recognize that and recognize that he's the only one who's going to have the spine to serve a search warrant on Ridgeland right now, expose the conditions, and rescue the dog. And we need Governor Evers to tell Attorney General Paul to do this.
Once the dogs are rescued, according to plan, you mentioned that you have someone to take them, but what kind of medical care are they going to need? Is there a fund for that? Or?
So we had 22 dogs who were safely rescued from the facility in March, and the medical problems that they faced were pretty shocking, from simple things like their feet, spending their entire lives with their feet standing on wires, their feet are mangled and disfigured. All of the dogs have giardia inside of the facility, and they have explosive diarrhea that we have no reason to think every single dog, given how infectious that is, inside the facilities is suffering from giardia. That was expensive to treat. They have severe mental trauma. So absolutely, these are dogs, people have to understand, these are dogs who have been severely harmed, and they do need special care. Amazingly, so many people have stepped up across the country who have been inspired by the courage of these rescuers to run face down tear gas, face down pepper spray. One anonymous benefactor stepped up during what was happening on Saturday and offered to pay Original Farms $1 million to release all the dogs and close down their business. And Original Farms spitefully said no. So the money is there from people across the country who just want these dogs to have the safe, loving homes that they deserve. There's no question that if these dogs are released, there are homes, there are rescues, there are vets who want to do work pro bono, there are donors and benefactors who want to cover all these costs. It can happen. We just need Governor Evers and Josh Paul to make it happen.
Is it 2,000 dogs total? Is that their rough estimate, or is that?
Yeah, as of January, there were still just under 2,000 dogs, 1,945 dogs, I think, was the exact count as of today in January. We have no reason to think that the number has significantly changed other than the 22 dogs who were rescued last year.
In hindsight, what do you feel would have been more appropriate response from the St. County Sheriff's Department?
Enforce the law against Ridgeland that we already know that they are breaking. Serve a search warrant on Ridgeland. We don't want to be doing this. We want law enforcement to do this. We're out here because we have exhausted every other possible avenue.
I meant in response to the crowd.
In response to the crowd, I mean, at that point, you still have a facility that is engaged in known felony criminal animal cruelty, and you're tear gassing people for at most trespassing, which is a minor misdemeanor, compared to felony level animal cruelty that you know is happening right there. So it makes absolutely no sense. The police should have been turned around. They were facing the wrong direction.
Yes! 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 Yes!
We have no particular animosity for the owners of Richmond Farms. At this point, they have had opportunity to exit from this business model. First of all, they've already, because of the threat of prosecution for over 300 felony counts of animal cruelty, they've already reached a settlement that means they're surrendering their breeding license, which is the main aspect of their business. So their business is lost. People have stepped up, offering to buy them out of this business. This was not us. That's not the way we necessarily would have gone about it. We don't have that kind of money. But other people have stepped up, offering them again the offer that was on the table on Saturday, as protesters were getting tear gas and pepper spray, peaceful rescuers. The offer was $1 million. The only reason at this point that they're not taking that offer is spite. But look, we have no ill will against them. We just want the dogs out. That's it.
Your knowledge, what kind of experience?
Is this Scotty could come up and answer that question? And can you introduce yourself and say a little bit about what kind of experiments are happening on dogs?
So I can speak to what I personally witnessed. I worked there 15 months, 15 years ago. And a few things, my job was to clean the pieces out the floor. And a few weeks in, they roped me into this cherry eye surgery. So it's supposed to be performed with a licensed veterinarian. There's no licensed veterinarian performing it. I clearly was not trained. There was no anesthesia used. They just had me hold the dog as tight as I could. As they took a scissors from the dog's eye and severed the gland, which is not standard either. You're supposed to kind of readjust it. So yeah, that's just one example. And I was thinking, had I stayed there months more, what else would they have roped me into, And I wasn't even in the research buildings. I was just in one of the research.
Lowell, do you have any comments on it?
What I would like to say about the performance of veterinary duties by non-qualified people without anesthesia, without analgesia, and with the wrong technique. As you said, they rip the eyelid out rather than replace it. They also devocalize or remove the vocal cords or sever the vocal cords without proper care. These animals are choking on their own blood after these procedures. But why did they do that? Because you have 2,000 beagles in 2 by 4 foot cages stacked upon each other, and they're loud. It's cruel, and the welfare of these animals is imperative. We have moved beyond that model of keeping dogs or any animals in cages. Their welfare was at stake. They are not cared for now. And the reason they devocalize them is because they're so loud. Because they're being tortured. They're seeing their fellow beagles right in front of them, right underneath them, right to the top of them, and they cannot interact as they should. They are social creatures just like you and me. It is the welfare that is paramount, and they're ignoring it. I also have seen a couple of the dogs in my practice ask the answer what health they were in. These dogs are damaged, but they're not broken. And they are resilient, and they are loving, and they're kind, and all of the torture that they've been through, they still are dogs. We all know the feeling of the dog licking our face, and we all know when a dog is happy and wagging his tail. And we see those dogs running around in circles. That is not normal behavior for dogs. You go to a zoo and you watch a fox run around and you realize right away that that's not normal. It is not normal for dogs to be in small cages in confinement. It is important, it has to end.
Can I just add something to that? So on Saturday, there were many scenes that were heartbreaking. Innocent protesters, grandmothers being brutalized. There were sheriffs that were conflicted and willing to have conversations and talk. But the most important scene that we saw was the amount of tear gas that was sucked into those buildings, which meant that those dogs were then subjected to tear gas. Those dogs were inherently tear gas. And there are individuals here today, me being one of them, that still can't breathe right, that still doesn't feel right. I don't know what's going on with those dogs, but I know that they have been subjected to the same tear gas that innocent protesters did. Those innocent dogs have as well, and they deserve an immediate wellness check. They deserve immediate attention because they...
Yes! Right now!
The question was, what kind of experiments are done on these dogs? One of the, by far the most common types of testing done on beagles is toxicology testing, where basically you take 100 dogs and you keep upping the dose of some toxin until 50 of them are dead from the toxin. And you call that the lethal dose. 50% of the dogs die slowly and painfully from chemical poisoning. And it's ironic that dogs inside of Ridgeland are being slowly poisoned to death for things like laundry detergent. You don't need to know how many dogs, how much it takes to kill a dog with laundry. Just don't tell them don't need any laundry detergent. It's that easy. And the irony that dogs are being poisoned to death inside Ridgeland with chemical warfare, and chemical warfare was used against the rescuers trying to rescue them. That's what's so upsetting for us.
I would just like to add that it's important to realize as we talk about the pain and suffering that these dogs are experiencing